Hello everyone, Specter here and welcome to Star Citizen. Today we're going to take a look at this Anvil Hurricane. Anvil Hurricane is a heavy multi-crew heavy fighter, yes, in Star Citizen. But before I talk more about it, let's get to it first. As you can see, there are two big laser repeaters at the nose of the ship, and yes, these two laser repeaters are size 4. I changed it. But before I change anything, this ship originally come with two size 3 gimbal mount laser repeaters, but since it got a hard point, it's like size 4 hard point, so I changed it into size 4 fixed laser repeaters. And here, you will see there's a point for you to enter the cockpit, but we will talk about it later. Alright, so at the wing, you can see there are 2 missiles in total, which makes 4 on this ship. And you can see there's a lot of weapons on the turret up there, which you can enter via this point. Alright, so there's no weapons on the wing of the ship. And also you got 2 huge thrusters at the back. Nothing you can press anyway, so you don't need to care much about it. And the right hand side of the ship is the same as the left hand side of the ship. So let's get inside the ship as it's quite hot out here. Now, in here there's a gunner seat, and press this one and your character will look down and get a seat. After you get on the turret, you can see the view at the front would be extremely clear, but you don't need to expect you can see something at the side or at the back of your turret, as you can't. And your guns is kind of blocking the sight at the side as well. But anyway, you got a lot of firepowers. You got 4 size 3 laser repeaters, and these are the original loadout. You can change it into other size 3 loadout, like distortion weapons and other stuff. Alright, and it can provide a lot of firepower as well. But one thing I need to tell you guys is, well, do not press this button. So once you press it, well, you will see that you only can fire 2 of your 4 not missiles, but weapons. As this is a bug, I think, so yep, do not press that, would be fine. Alright. And of course, your turret gunner can help you to communicate with something, and also help you to engage something at the back. But it's quite hard to tell where is your back, especially in the middle of the fight. So it would be like, better for you to have some sort of communication with your pilot, as well, he's or she is at the top, at the front of your ship, and you guys cannot really touching each other. Okay, so the only way for you to escape from the ship is to press this button, or just simply press Y. There's no ejection seat, by the way, so once the ship is going down, you know what button you should press. Press Y would be fine. Alright, so now, if you have ever seen any kind of videos about the Aegis Saber, you will know that, or maybe you own one, I don't know, you will know that once you try to get inside of your cockpit, those guns at the nose will be retracted and like transform, it's just like withdraw towards the middle part of the ship so that you can enter the cockpit, right? But it's not for the Hurricane. The Hurricane never be that kind of fancy. So once you press this button in here, press here, so you can see it just like it's very similar to the Gladiator, sorry. And yep, it's entered from the bottom of the ship instead of at the side of it, which quite fancy. Not that fancy, I should say. Yeah. Anyway, of your surrounding is quite nice, even though someone may say these bars are blocking that sight, but for me it's still okay. You only have 2 weapons that's controlled by the pilot, and of course you got 4 missiles in total. If you really want to have the full firepower, please ask your friend or someone to man your turret. If not, only 2 of these size 4 maximum firepower you can get from the ship. Speaking of the missiles, seems like you have 4 size 2 missiles, which looks great, but I will suggest you assume they are not here, because once you try to fire your missiles, 2 possible outcomes will happen. One is bad, the other one will be worse. The bad one will be, if you try to fire your missiles, they are not going to fire anything, so they will stay inside of your missiles rack, and yep, you're just wasting your time. Yep, I would suggest you to spend some time to engage your target with your laser repeaters instead, or maybe other weaponries instead of using missiles. The worst scenario would be you successfully fire them out, but they will damage your ship, or sometimes they will destroy your ship as well. The same reason, basically, they stay inside of your ship, and once you fire, they detonated inside of your ship. Yep. I know many ships in like fighters or some other ships who try to fly, who can fly very fast. If you fly too fast, sometimes the missiles will be damaging your ship as well. But for the Hurricane, no matter how fast or how slow you fly, you will damage your ship as well if you successfully fire them. So do not use those missiles, especially in, just for 316. I don't know 317 what will happen to it. All right. If things go sideways, you have a button better than a gun. Better than a gunner. You have an ejection button in here to eject yourself upward to save your own life. That's really nice. So let's talk about the ship itself. I would say this ship is quite, it's on average, in my opinion, as this ship is quite tough to be cracked. Even if your wings are being destroyed and like all of your components are in red color just due to a lot of damage suffered too much damage, still you'll be able to get back to your to the station and get repaired, just like those NPC Hurricane that in like high risk target or above is quite hard to be cracked, especially if your loadout of your ship is like special kind of. Okay, if you load up something like distortion weapons combined with other stuff, and you got people like man your turret, it's not just talk about the NPCs, even for the human players or opponent would be a big threat. And yep, if you talk about like how to fly the ship, the way to fly the ship is quite hard to maneuver, as this ship it's just like a flying pizza. All right, it's not very maneuverable. Sometimes if you're engaging something small, then you'll have a hard time to catch up. So I would suggest you to do something to try to destroy something bigger than small targets, especially if you got someone on top of your turret, even better. And even you can take out a hammerhead if you want it easily, not a problem. Yeah, you just don't have missiles to help you out anyway. But in the atmosphere, I would say even worse, the situation, because I don't know, it's just like very clumsy to fly and very hard to turn comparing to flying in space. So I would suggest you to stay in space to do your bounty missions instead of like doing it in the atmosphere. This ship come up with a price in-game 1.2 million, which is very similar to the price of a light fighter Gladius, which is about 1.17 million. But make no mistake, this is a multi-crew heavy fighter, and even if you don't have someone to man your turret, still it can do a lot of damage to enemy ships. So I think it's quite fair to get this ship with such a price. Yep, and it is kind of cheap as well, and yep, easy to get your hands on it. But if you talk about real cash, it would be no. I mean, I won't suggest people to use real cash to buy this ship anyway, unless you're doing something like a CCU. As this ship, if you are using real cash, it would be about $195, which if you are come up with a cheaper price, it would be 185. But $195 is $100 more expensive comparing to the Gladius, which is sharing the similar price in game with this Hurricane. So I would suggest you better fly this ship first before you really purchase anything with real cash, especially for this ship. But anyway, this ship is quite cheap though, so I don't think you should spend too much money on this ship with real cash. Alright, so basically, this is the end of the video about the Anvil Hurricane, and I hope that this video is helpful. I will see you guys next time then. Bye bye.